This is without a doubt the hardest video I have ever had to put out. As you know, based from the community post on this channel, my father passed away and the time of this recording four days ago. And the pain I am feeling right now is undescribable. Me and my dad were like the closest you'd ever know. He was my best friend. We were so close. He was my mentor. He was my hero. And he was a big fan of this channel as well. He was my number one fan. He was. And to see him, to never hug him and tell him how much I love him, to feel his warmth. Now he's gone. Oh, God. And on Christmas of all days, you know something? I was recently getting into religion, finding Christ and stuff this year. And what do I get for giving myself to Christ? The passing of my fucking father. That's what I got underneath the Christmas tree. How can God be so fucking cruel, man? And a lot of born again Christians will come on here and trying to debunk me and blah blah blah, but you haven't gone through what I've gone through, so shut up. I suppose I should tell you about the horrific Christmas I've had. Speaking of Christ, um, this year alone was awful, but the final nail in the coffin was this Christmas, the passing of me dad. So, a little bit of a background about my dad's health. 5 years ago, he was sent to A&E because he contracted influenza. He survived, but he ended up with COPD, which is, it might as well be lung cancer. It's a death sentence, you know. It really shortens your life. So my dad hated the experience he had in the hospital, and what contributed to his death was a few things, his overwhelming stubbornness being one. Let me tell you, we found out a year later that he discharged himself from the hospital. The doctor didn't discharge him. My dad discharged himself, and I had a feeling that severely contributed to all the health problems he ended up getting. Like the amount of times I begged him to go to the hospital. In fact, all of us were practically begging him to get better. You try telling the most stubborn man in the world to go to the hospital, he would always say, "Nah, I'm good, I'm fine. Nah, I don't need to hear all that." Then barrier, excuses, anything to avoid going. Throughout this Christmas, his health was declining. He was throwing up in buckets. He was losing his ability to walk even more and more and more. And I had to step in and sort of be like a full-time nurse for my dad, a carer. But every COPD appointment he had, he refused every one of them. And prior, my dad lost two people that were very close to him, not family but friends. And the death of the family friend that happened this year, I think I mentioned it somewhere on the channel somewhere, or a live stream, I think. And I think that's what made him just give up. He was refusing health treatments. He'd make excuses, put barriers over himself, and because of awful timing, his health really, really deteriorated on Christmas, and it got so bad that we had to end up like carrying him around and getting him what he needed. And he wasn't eating, he wasn't drinking, he was drinking alcohol a lot because he was just I think he was just really depressed and lonely. That's why he has a man cave, and me and him would spend a lot of time having a laugh, going over stories about his days in Liverpool and all that. We'd smoke a joint together, we'd drink together, we'd talk about people in the family or celebrities and crack fucking jokes about them. Oh, I'm gonna miss him so much, man. Like you have no idea. And I'm worried, about my other family members. How they're gonna deal with it, because there's a lot of people out there that are so overwhelmed by grief that they don't that they do something to themselves. And I said, look, it's bad enough I've lost my father, but I can't imagine if I lost my brother and my mother. I can't imagine that. I'd probably end up doing myself in just to save me the pain, you know? Because right now, I fucking hate life. But, it's tough. Oh, God, it's tough. But you just gotta grow up. It's tough and it hurts, but you just gotta grow up, innit? And my dad, he was such a typical dad in this sense. He I'm a 30-year-old man, right? And he treat me, look, if I'm out of line, he would tell me off if I needed it. My dad was from the street, got brought up rough. He had a very rough life. He did. He lost his mum and dad around my age. When he was younger, he lost an older brother. My dad came from a very big family, about 5 brothers, 2 sisters, and you know, uh, the the eldest went first, and that really put a wedge in the family, like that really just. And then his other brother, the second one, died of alcoholism. Like he was an alcoholic. Um, so what's left of that family now is 4 of them still remain. But my dad, and this is the fucking toughest part about it, is that he was the youngest in the family. My dad died at 65 years of age, and I don't care what anybody says, that is a young age to go, you know? There's people that make it to their 90s and 80s, and yeah, that's old, but, you know, that's what I was talking about with the emotional pain part of it, you know? It's, he just didn't want to go back into the hospital. He wanted to spend his final moments on Christmas, and that's part of the reason why I think going forward I am never going to see Christmas the same way again. I absolutely despise it now. I hate it more than anything in the world. It's You could take my birthday, New Year, Easter, whatever, but there will be no holiday I will hate going forward more than Christmas, because I think Christmas, yeah, it's crappy timing, but he wanted to spend Christmas with his family, but it was a terrible Christmas because the emotional roller coaster that me dad would put me through because he refused treatment. It was like he was putting Christmas above his own life and the mental health and well-being of those who loved him and worshipped him, like me. It really put a strain on all of us. A part of me hates him for that, but at the same time, he was a good man. He was a well-respected man. One of the one of the he one of the greatest men I have ever known. He was the textbook definition of world's best dad, 100%. I mean, there are other things besides the passing of me dad that were rough to go through, but this was the hardest by far. And I don't know what to do, how to go forward with anything. I just feel lost and alone, and it's like he's just left me in this fucking cruel world. Oh, I don't know. Because if you ask me, living with COPD, just waking up every day, barely breathing, taking meds all the time, and barely not eating. I just think he had enough and just wanted to check out. And it's like my whole world is just fallen apart. He was everything to me. I loved him so much. Why'd you leave me, man? Another thing you should know too is that he was a big fan of the live streams. In fact, I'd go as far to say he would have a secret account I would know about and would interact with the chat. In other words, he was also one of the boys, one of us. He would watch every live stream we do, and he just he one time I think he pretended to be fucking Barack Obama to troll me. Ah, God bless him. God bless him. And then the rest of the chat um, started pretending to be other figures, you know, uh, just to just to get a reaction out of me. It was all fun. Yeah, thanks for that, Dad. Oh, I love. God bless him. I love him. And what you're seeing right now, this game in front of you is called Alien Trilogy. When I was a kid, this would be the game my dad would get up at late nights. He was a young man in his 30s, right? And he would play this game. This was his one of his favorite games because he got me the PS1 and stuff like that. And I had all kinds of games. Uh, Buzz Lightyear, Toy Story 2, and Crash Bandicoot. So he really made an awesome childhood, you know? Childhood, if you're young and you're watching this, appreciate the young years while you got them, because the older and older you get, the more pain life throws at you. As for the channel moving forward, we'll do more live streams, but the videos will take a bit of a backseat right now. I can't be asked editing and trying to be funny and blah 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 blah. In fact, the final video that my dad watched was the EDP video a couple months ago, and the reason why there's been a lack of content, even though I was going to make a video about why Prime and Lunchleys, sorry, is a bunch of dog shit influencer food. But the reason why that video never got made, because I was caring for my dad, to tell you the truth, and trying to provide for my family, going to jobs and that. So that took up a lot of my time, and yeah, I just think, well, yeah, I was told I had to respect his wishes. He wanted to spend this Christmas, um, with his family, even though he was withering away and away and away. I just think, to me, I don't respect that, because it was selfish. You put your some stupid holiday over your family's health, and the emotional roller coaster he put my family through because he simply refused to get treatment. I just think he lived too long and he just didn't want to live anymore. Because my dad, he's had a tough life. He really has. And I think now, I hope it gets easier going forward. I really do. I can't put up with any more loss and stuff like that because of if that did happen, I think that would just finish me off. You know, I'm barely hanging together as it is, and the amount of messages I got from you lot, I really do appreciate it. I really do. I need that because that's what keeps me going. I am so lucky. Fuck money. So lucky to have such an awesome community that we built over the years. I am so lucky to have met all the wonderful people on YouTube and all that, and really cool people I've worked with in the past. And I'm lucky to have that. I'm lucky to have you lot here to have my back. But I think the worst part of it is the love I felt from my father is gone, and I feel this empty void. I just want someone to love me, you know, just to hug me and tell 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 me that things are gonna be okay. I ain't got that anymore. He supplied it. He was the one to supply it, and now I feel lost and alone in this world, and I don't know what to do. I am going to miss his love so much because now that he's gone, it's like the love he had for me. I can't find it anywhere, you know? And that is what really hurts the most. One thing I should mention, and this is so important to mention, if you got loved ones, tell them just how much you love them because you never know when their time comes. You know, death comes on swift wings for the old and the young. You never know when it's it, you know? Just tell them that you love them. Hold them tight. Just just let them know that you love them. Because my dad's gone and it feels like my whole world is being utterly destroyed.